TJ Smallwood here with Slingin Dirt Media in the tower here at Florence Speedway. It's North-South Week. I got some guests and we're going to talk about it. I got Josh and Wes. We're talking about dirt racing in the bluegrass. Man, what do you guys think about this place?
Love it. Florence Speedway, love it. North-South 100 week. It's like Christmas morning each and every day.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than this. I mean, we started our podcast here last year. I mean, what a better way to start something. But I mean, yeah, Florence Speedway, man, the best racing there is.
So your guys' first podcast last year was this week last year.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it was. This week last year, we had some practice stuff, you know, like we got the idea actually, and I was like, well, honestly, I had the idea for about 5 years, and it went on, and our buddy Brad, we were actually up here at the North-South in 2017.
Yeah.
And I had the Dirt Racing in the Bluegrass page. I've had it for a long time. Did stuff on there years ago. But I was like, you know, podcasting's really become a thing, and there's, you know...
It's getting big.
It's a big popularity sort of thing, kind of booming right now.
Right.
So I'm like, what do you guys think about doing a podcast? We talked about it way back then.
We did.
Went several years and never did. And I messaged Wes and Brad one day. I was like, let's get the podcast going.
Yeah.
So we practiced for a couple of weeks, and then Wes was he was adamant about we were going to start North-South.
So
week.
you guys planned it. Hey, the plan is North-South. We're kicking it off, and that's how we're going to start our show.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water, I said North-South 100 week.
I mean,
It's going to be our first show.
If you're going to swing for the fence, hey, why not, right?
Yeah, no.
I mean, it makes sense. Your Kentucky Bluegrass podcast, biggest race in the state of Kentucky, I would have to imagine, right?
Absolutely. Crown Jewel, it's our only crown jewel. I mean, it's the biggest one. Starting last year, it paid $75,000 to win.
Yep.
I mean, it was definitely the biggest show, but I mean, we started out with 3 super late model drivers, and we've definitely progressed since then. Like then, we were behind the screen. You know, we just left like a infographic up.
Right.
You know, people couldn't see us on the live video back then.
Yeah.
But I mean, why not start with 3 of our best super late model drivers in this area and go big or go home kind of thing? I guess is what we were thinking. Yeah.
So when was like your guys? Did you guys come here your first time together, or have you guys been coming here for a long time before then, or when did you guys first start coming to Florence Speedway?
My first North-South 100 would have been in 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I remember, I don't know when my first one was, to be honest with you, but I was a little kid. I mean, I was like under 10 years old. My stepdad was a huge race fan, and we came up here every year. I mean, I remember, you know, back during the years when it wasn't 75,000 to win, you know? Like, it hasn't always been that way.
I remember when they made the jump to 50,000. It's like,
Yeah.
man, this is a big deal. The North-South's paying 50,000. And at the time, there wasn't a whole lot of tracks. You had your crown jewels that did that, but it wasn't like it is now. It's just like, well, now you can put a dirt late model schedules out, and every week or every other week, you can find a 50,000 to win show.
You're right, yeah.
Even on a weekday,
But
on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Yeah, for sure.
But the prestige of this race.
Yeah.
The North-South 100, the 41st annual this year.
This thing's huge.
It is huge.
It's huge.
I mean, just today we pulled in, we were parking, and we parked behind a car from Massachusetts. That's a dang haul.
Yeah.
From Massachusetts to Kentucky.
Yeah.
But you've got drivers from all over the United States. You've got fans from all over the United States. You've got drivers from out of the country. Kyle Black.
Kai, Aussie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They run good last night.
Yeah.
And he has really impressed me this year. I've watched him several times. He came down to Lake Cumberland earlier in the season, ran the Summer Nationals deal there with the Hell Tour. He's really coming into his own. And it's good to see that. He don't get to run a whole lot, but when he does, Cat keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, he's definitely adjusting. You know, I got to meet him last year here, and some of his crew guys and stuff, and they actually camped right next to us out back there, and we were talking to him. It's like, you know, they race how they race in Australia. He said when he came over here and he got in his first couple races, he's like, man, these boys are serious.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not that they're not serious over there, but it's like it's a whole different ball game.
Sure.
Over here.
Well, you know this better than I do, though. I mean, we're talking about the North-South 100. Even when it wasn't paying 50,000 to win, 75,000 to win, the North-South 100 was a big deal. Even back in those years, like I remember being, I don't know. I mean, I had to have been 5, 6, 7 years old, coming with my stepdad. Back when, I don't know, it paid 10,000 to win, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember, but it was a big deal even back then. This race is about more than just the money. It was way back then, and it is now. I mean, for sure.
Man, I mean, I think back, like, when I was a kid, like I said, I know it's not completely unique. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other people that has never missed one either. Yeah. I'm not the only person who's done that. There's a lot of other people do it. But I do think that that's cool. But I remember as a kid, when it first started, and it was like, man, these cars, how much different they are now. And I remember when I was a kid, and I still say it still is, my all-time favorite driver when I was a kid was Pat Patrick.
Oh, okay.
Pat Patrick, he was the man. I mean, he was the guy to beat.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I was a kid, and he's winning everything, and it's just, that's great. So he wins the first 2 North-South 100s. Then he ran second in the third one.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's unreal how much things have changed and how different it is now. And man, just the memories, you know?
Yeah, and we talked, you know, earlier in the week, how cool is it? This is the 41st, and you've been to every single North-South 100. So that
makes me, I was what, 5?
I mean,
I was a little guy.
I guess you're about the same boat I was.
Yeah, I was a little
guy. One you came to,
but that's awesome. And then to see how it's progressed and how the cars have changed, the track changes from the black ice to what it is today.
Yeah. And it still puts on a good show both ways.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely it does.
Florence is always going to be special for all three of us.
Absolutely.
And it is for everybody. You talk to people, and everybody's got memories from this place, and you keep making memories. We've already made them this week. Yeah. That's what it's all about. And it's just cool because you come here. This is a place that you don't really get to see some of the people and drivers other places throughout the year. But when you come to Florence, it's always circled on people's calendars. We're going to camp. Yeah. We're going to race. Yeah. We will be there.
It's a bucket list track to a lot of people. Yeah. You plan it. People plan vacations around it. Everything. It's almost, and not to take away from her, but it's a comparison to, it's like the fair. Every year, it's the fair to racing around here.
Right. It's what we wait for all year long. If you grew up around here, you wait all year long for the North-South 100. You know, part of it we talked about like the other day. I mean, the memories, not just like there's so many memories we could talk about on the racetrack. But the memories outside of just the racetrack too, the people,
the camping and stuff that we were talking about the other night. I remember when me and Josh were teenagers, Josh King, and we started camping here. And like I said, I'm not saying we started the camping thing, but literally, man, it was like us in our tents and maybe one or two other guys in little pop-up campers, and that was it. And then it was like, okay. Then next year there was a few more. Next year there's a few more, and it's like. It's unreal to see the sea of campers that are out there now. It's
no doubt.
It's almost, I'm not going to say it's the same. Man, there's almost as many campers as there is car parking.
Yeah.
You're right about that,
And to set up a week in advance. People start marking and setting their campers up the Saturday before when y'all open the gates, and it's like, hey, and now it's grown to where you don't have one gate entrance. You've got 3 or 4 multiple ways to get in.
And if you've never seen this, I'll try to explain this to you. So the week before the North-South, they open up the gates and people line their vehicles up and they get in line. They open up the gates, and man, it's like a mad rush to people to go back and mark off their camping area and their camping spots, and everybody's got their favorite places. And man, again, we're in Boone County, Kentucky. There probably isn't 4 inches of square property in the whole county, so you don't want to be stuck camping on a hill like this. So everybody's got their favorite places that they like, and man, when they open those gates and you just watch the crowd run through the fields and the trucks and the people are just, that's something to see in itself.
I'd imagine, yeah. I don't know. We came up the year we camped. That was back in 2017, and that was fun though. Getting to come up the week before.
That's just part of the experience.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
And then the friendships you make from camping next to people that are from the state, but even from out of state.
Yeah.
And you see those people throughout the year at races, and you exchange phone numbers and Facebooks, and it's like, hey, are you racing at Tazewell this weekend?
Yeah.
Are you racing at Bulls Gap? Are you racing at Florence? Are you going to the World?
Yeah. Yep.
It's like
we have
you make a bond and a friendship with those people.
Oh,
that
it's like your racing family. So we have a racing group family that we camp together here at Florence. Some of those are the same people that we camp together as our racing family at Eldora. Right. And we've been camping at both places for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just every year we have our group and we set our camp up a certain way, and we may not see each other throughout the rest of the year at all. But we know we're going to see each other at Florence, and we know we're going to see each other at Eldora.
It's a guarantee.
Yes.
We will see them at Florence. We'll see them at Eldora.
Let's see, we have group text messages. We have groups like, hey, we're doing, what's our big meal? Like one night we do a big meal together. Last year at Eldora, it was a taco bar. So we did like, everybody was like, okay, well, here's the list, and this person's bringing this, and that person's bringing that. And it's like, we had a full-on, any item that you can, any topping that you can think of to put on a taco. Hard shell, soft shell, it was there. I mean,
it was a fiesta.
It was a fiesta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you had to have a siesta.
Then you have a siesta after that. Absolutely.
Gosh. No doubt.
But it's just, it's those things that make this weekend especially so special.
Yeah.
And then if you do have a rain out, you know, with a Lucas race earlier in the year, say, you know, the Ralph Latham, then you get to race Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yes. It's that's a tough week. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's hell week, but it's definitely a tough week when they reschedule the Ralph Latham. If it rains out, they lose it. At least they do have the opportunity to run it like on Wednesday night. It's great to do that and get to make that race up. But man, that's a long week.
I imagine
It's already a long week.
It's already a long week, and now we're gonna have another
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know, and everybody's showing up the week prior, so it's already, you got people on the grounds all week.
Yeah.
You know, the week before.
Yeah.
And then some camp for the 2 weeks. I mean, they love it.
Well, it's all good for us though as fans. We're not DJ having to you know, be over the camping and parking and all that good stuff.
So I mean, part of my duties, I guess, since I work for the track, I get to help. How do I say it? Control the chaos of the camping and the parking.
Sure,
yeah.
And I got to help him yesterday.
Oh yeah. So Wes got to be firsthand. Like, so the rule is, hey, people come and, like I said, they open the gates up on Saturday before. You get to come in and you get the rope off your camping, and this is the area. That's where you're going to camp at. Well, the rule is you have to occupy that spot by noon on Thursday. If you're not in that spot by noon on Thursday, if you don't have a car parked in there, if you don't have a tent, or you don't have something in there and it's just a bare open spot, again, noon on Thursday, I have to be that guy that those spots now become available. So somebody has to take up that tape, and now, because there's other people looking for camping spots, and well, now we've just created spots open. It's not always the popular position.
No, I imagine not, yeah.
No.
But, hey, we have to be...
On one hand, it's not, and then on the other hand, it is, because you've got people that are going to get to use that spot because nobody showed up.
You've got to utilize the space that you have, and, you know, when we're locked into a box, whatever shape that box is, and we're trying to fit everybody that we can peacefully, and, you know, everybody have a good time, but it has to be give and take. And the rules of all the campus stuff, that is posted. You can get all that.
Yeah. There's something different here from, like, say, Eldora, is camping here is free.
Free.
So
it's free. Come have a good time for free. Right. Tickets, not so much. But the camping part is free. It's not going to cost you any extra money.
Right.
Depends on what you're drinking. But hey.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. But man, this place is a great time. It's very special to me. It's my home track. I grew up here. Having you guys here, just getting to record and talk about it, man, I don't know what else could be better.
Man, it just really excited both of us when you reached out to us a couple weeks ago and said, hey, just seeing if we could work together, collaborate.
Yeah.
And this is awesome because all three of us are very passionate about dirt racing across the United States, but also in our area here, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana, but especially here in Kentucky. And this track being your home track, a track that's very special to Josh and I. And it was just awesome that you reached out because, you know, we both are on platforms that are similar but a little different.
Right.
But we doing what we love.
We're doing what we love.
Racing,
absolutely.
And it's only going to help both of us. And the way that I looked at it too is this is super cool because we needed a way to get in to work and have Florence as one of our tracks and something in hopes that we could continue and work together throughout the year and not just make this a one-time deal.
Right.
You know, something that
They're not just an annual deal. It's great that we get to collaborate and work the north-south together, but man, there's other tracks and other times throughout the year. And man, we share a lot of drivers in the state of Kentucky. I mean, I talked to some drivers in Ohio and Indiana, and man, I love sharing the stories and the good times and the people. And man, sometimes the guys are telling me stories and we're sitting there and they're talking about stuff that may not even be racing related, but it's just a good chapter in that guy's life. It's that good driver-fan connection. You know, I had the idea when I first thought of, here's what I want to do with Slingin Dirt Media. I thought, man, we're going to lose stories.
Yeah.
There's so many younger people and stuff coming into the sport, and not everybody has heard of who was Jack Boggs and the Jack Boggs story and how he came through the sport and how his life ended. You know what? Some people never get that story, and if you didn't experience it, and if we don't record these stories, some people's never going to get to hear them.
Right.
Exactly.
So we've got to record as many of these stories as we can and just get it out there. And man, I don't know, maybe I'm just a weird history nerd and I love dirt racing.
Yeah.
But I just want to share those great stories so that they live on, you know.
And as a fan, we want that, and we know that our fans as well want that because the stories and the memories, that's, you know, like you talking about Pat Patrick, you know, that's super cool. And you know, to see what he done throughout his career, and a lot was right here at Florence. It's just,
the guy won a lot of races here.
Cool. It's super cool, and that's something Josh and I've looked at too because, you know, we're not getting any younger.
Nope.
Guys that's raced and promoted and on tracks and officiated and flagged, you know, all of those guys, they're not getting any younger either.
No.
And it's like you got to get those memories and those stories. Those stories are so special.
Yes.
And we need to know those. We need to hear them. We need to document them.
I'm talking to engine builders. I mean, people that are just connected in the sport because these guys got stories too. I mean, I did an episode with Michael Lefevre's Slicker Graphics. I mean, man, we just had a great time. And I mean, Michael's got tons of stories. His grandpa Vern Lefevre's did an episode with him, and man, you want to talk about a guy that's got stories over the years?
For sure, yeah.
Vern Lefevre's. I mean, man, that guy he's got some stories, and he's seen a lot of laps.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point too, because not only the past, you know, Pat Patrick. I mean, I think about even like, you know, you were talking about that, and I'm thinking Mike Jewell. Like, it's not going to be long before there's people who are like Mike Jewell, don't even know that history, but not just the history of it all, but also the current.
Yeah.
And I think helping introduce fans to drivers and others currently involved in the sport and who they are, providing that connection to fans, that's something that we really focus on because, I mean, I think that's important. Like, it's one thing for someone to come out here and see a car go around in circles, but when you feel like you know that person.
Yes.
For example, we had Bobby Pierce on our podcast. Never met Bobby Pierce before. You know, when you know someone personally, it really it helps you see.
Connects you.
Yeah, it connects you.
It connects you.
Feel like
you got that connection.
Yeah.
You got somebody that you want to come to the racetrack and see.
Yeah.
You know, I love doing my local and regional guys. I'm not saying that I don't and won't occasionally. I like talking to my big name drivers too.
Yeah.
Sure.
But you know, your local fans, local people here in and around the Cincinnati area, we have 3 racetracks from downtown Cincinnati that are probably within a 45-minute drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I would guess probably pretty close. The population of Cincinnati, maybe 85 or 90% of our population around Cincinnati have never even heard of these 3 tracks.
No.
Yeah.
It's like there's a huge problem there. We
Yep.
got to get these people to the racetracks. I'm not saying they need to be here every single week. It'd be great if they did, or Lawrenceburg or Moeller. That's great. Try different places, but you know what? If they don't know this exists and they don't know who the people are, what's the incentive? What's trying to get them
Sure.
out here? You know?
Yeah. Well, and that's part of what excites me about you contacting us. And I've thought about this a lot in the past. You know, we've messaged, we see each other at the racetrack, we talk. And I've thought about it myself. When you contacted me, it excited me because I think like we have a platform in Central Kentucky and relationships there and know people there.
Yep.
In the last 90 days, we've reached, I talked about it the other day, but we've reached 575,000 people.
That's crazy.
That's unbelievable.
All
Well, think
across-
about
all across the United
think
States.
about though
awesome.
if you take that and then you take this area where
Yeah.
you've got a platform, you've
Right.
got relationships, you know
Yeah.
people, and you combine
Yeah.
those 2 things together.
That's got to be a recipe for success,
Yeah,
right?
it has,
Has
to
to
be.
be.
Yeah,
Yes.
as long as we don't screw it up.
Right.
Hey.
Right.
I'm trying not to.
Yeah.
But just super cool, and we thank you so much for reaching out to us and working with us. And like I said, this don't need to just be an annual North-South 100 deal. Let's work throughout the year together, you know, and continue to grow this sport. And something you hit on it talking about getting new people to come and watch.
Yeah, yeah.
Like one of my best friends, he's my fishing partner, you know, tournament guy. I brought him to his first dirt race here at Florence.
Really?
And then his soon-to-be stepson,
Yeah.
we brought him, and here was his first
No
dirt
kidding.
race, and that was within the last year.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to get new people involved,
Right.
come to the track.
And
at
they
least give us-
liked it, right?
Oh, they loved it.
oh,
Yeah,
sure.
loved it.
Who
Yeah.
wouldn't?
Money.
Come on.
I mean,
Yeah.
right out of the box.
Yeah.
They're-
New
they're-
race fans.
They're Josh Rice fans. They're Michael
Yes.
Chilton fans.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I got to buy a shirt. I got to buy a sweatshirt. I
Yeah.
got to buy a hoodie.
Yeah.
I want to come to the race.
You got to see the merch trailers, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just that cool thing, getting new people involved
Yeah.
that have never been, don't even know it exists, like you said, in this area.
You don't even know it exists, and the thing about it is we got to find, you know, we want people to come and watch, absolutely, but you know what? We also, it's a tough one, but man, there's nothing to say that hey, people can't decide. Man, I watched this, I really like it. That looks like a lot of fun. I'd like to get into that. How do I get into that?
Yeah.
Man, not everybody, and not everybody can afford a super late model.
No.
Or modified. But man, there are other classes and other ways of racing that people like can actually get into a car affordably and have
Sure.
fun. I mean, the legend
Yeah.
cars, the front wheel drive divisions. I mean, there are
Crown
different
Vics, the
names.
Hobby
Crown Vic.
Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people can actually participate without breaking the bank. They just need to come and check it out. And if that's what they want to do, man, there's ways that families and friends can get into the sport and be a part of it. Not just watch, but hey, if you want to just watch, it's always great to have the fans. Can't do it without the fans.
Can't.
No, that's for sure. And I think we're talking about bringing new fans in. You think about it, for all of us, there was someone who introduced us to the sport. It was some kind of personal connection.
Yeah. Parents.
And, sure, yeah, for all of us. And we have a way today through social media, I feel like, to provide that connection to more people.
Yes.
Through things like what you're doing.
There was no social media when I was a kid,
Yeah.
which I think was a good thing.
Right, no, I agree.
But yeah, now we can reach out and bring in the younger crowd and say, hey man, there's something to check out. It's going to keep you out of trouble.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Right, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people can make bad decisions and everything, but no, this can be a great, good, clean fun if you want it to be.
Sure. Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm very passionate about the sport. Obviously, grown up around it my entire life. I love it. I'm not saying that I've got band-aids to keep it going, but man, I want to see it keep going as long as I'm around.
Yeah,
absolutely. We do too.
I just want to see everybody else come to the racetrack and hope they enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think overall, I mean, as a sport, it's in a
good place.
A very good place.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to see that keep going, man.
Sure,
Because it sure is a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
don't want to see it go away. That's for
And
sure.
getting our younger generation involved.
Get the
teaching
kids.
them it's cool. You know, he's got his son Brantley. I got my daughter Annabeth.
Yeah.
You know, your kids.
Oh.
Teaching them about the sport and getting them
What's their ages?
9.
9.
Yeah, Brantley's 7.
Brantley's
Yeah.
7. So I can remember years ago, my girls, back when I was racing, I would have my quad down in the infield. And I'd look over, and at one time, I don't know if this is bad parenting or what, at one time, both of my girls were laying on the quad, some way, shape, or form. They're slick out, asleep. Cars going around the racetrack, and they're out.
Yeah.
But I knew where they were at, and they were out of trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's just really cool.
Yeah.
And that's the generation that, you know, we want to invite all age groups, but especially it's cool to see young kids here, and I saw a lot of that last night at the track.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see, and they're into it. They're watching.
Yes.
They've got favorite drivers. They're wearing the merchandise. They're asking questions.
Those 2 girls that were sleeping on the 4-wheeler, by the way, they both work in the concessions now.
Oh, okay. Got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. See?
I mean, it may not be in every single week for both of them.
Yeah.
Haley, she's back there every week, you know, slinging burgers and hot dogs. Mackenzie, she makes it when she can, but I mean, the girls, my girls both come as much as they can. They love it, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much as I do, but I'm a little different.
Goals, man, I tell you. I mean,
Yeah. So what's your favorite thing about the North-South?
You want to go first? You want me to?
I'll let you go first. If you're ready, I can tell you. By
Is
the
that a
way
tough
you
one?
responded.
There's so many.
I know.
It is
Yeah,
a
it's
tough
where you go.
There's a lot there.
We've touched on a lot of it.
We have.
It's the crown jewel, especially here for the state of Kentucky. But the race goes deeper than that with the friendships and, you know, something that you, like we said, you circle on your calendar.
Yeah.
You make plans a year in advance.
Yep.
Like after this weekend, we're already looking for next year, checking it. You know, Lucas hasn't even released their schedule, but we know when
we're going to be back here.
We're going to be here.
Are you guys going to be camping, or are you guys going to be in the hotel?
I'd love to be camping next year.
I would have been camping. All right.
Come on.
I would have been camping. I was like ready to bring the tent.
Yeah.
Wes needed the hotel, so we're in the hotel.
Hotel. What's it going to be? What's it going to be next year?
I had to have my CPAP machine.
Yeah, see, I told you.
You got to have what you got to have.
I had to throw him under the bus every chance I get. But
he loves to throw me under the bus and hit me with every tire that's on there. But we had a blast when we camped.
Yeah.
That was in 17. I've camped a couple other times up here.
Yeah.
That's just really special.
Yeah.
In itself. Not nothing against the, getting a hotel, but camping is
camping's where it's at.
It's really my fault, I guess, when you think about it, since I sold the camper, right? I mean, I guess I get
you
the
sold
blame.
the mobile hotel.
I know,
we got the generator.
I know, we got the generator.
You got a generator. I've got a generator. We were good on that.
We were, but no.
So I mean, just looking forward to it. I mean, it's one of those deals, and you see the progression of the North-South. Eventually, we'd love
changed
to see
a lot.
This baby get 100,000 to win.
I think it's coming.
I
think it's coming. I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, I bet you if you ask Josh King, he'd be like, "Oh no, that's never happening." Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea what his thought is, but it could be happening soon.
75,000 for the last, this year and last year. So who knows?
Everything's got a race.
It's so tough, man, and just because there's so many 100,000 to win shows now, more than there's ever been before. I mean, I don't think those events will ever be able to compete with the prestige of the North-South.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a hard thing. I don't know. I mean, I think about you asked about what's your favorite thing. It's like, how do you pick one thing? I mean, I said this the other day. It's like what makes this event special is just it's like all of it.
Yeah.
You put it all together.
It's almost like what's your
and
favorite
it's
part of
just
the steak
perfect.
dinner?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's hard to pick. You know, you got the camping, the hanging,
Right.
just hanging out with
Your buddies.
with buddies,
Yeah,
just
Kitchen cornhole, cooking food.
Yeah.
the racing. I mean,
Yeah.
all of it. The
It's
after,
like a party and a race breaks
Yeah,
out.
the after party. You know, like I mean, I don't know. How do you
Links and
pick?
Link
yeah,
zone back
right,
there, yeah.
Exactly.
It's just it's all of it together. It's like if you're baking a cake and you got all the ingredients, you put them all together, and
There it is.
That's the week in North South.
There it
100.
is. Yep, for sure. So before we wrap things up, guys, I thank you guys for coming on and recording with me here. I think this has been a great episode. I hope everybody else likes it. If people want to check out your guys' show, how do they do that?
Each and every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. We have Dirt Racing and Bluegrass Live on Facebook, and then once the show is over live, Josh goes back and uploads everything to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and then you can also go back and watch it on Facebook Live.
On any of the previous
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah, the
That's
previous
awesome.
episodes. So, I mean, you can go back a year from now and watch our very first
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
and critique us and see
how much
bad
things
we
have
was,
changed.
if we've got
Yeah.
any better.
Yeah.
And you know, we mentioned it the other day. We were both so nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, and we had notes galore, and both of us looked at each other and was like, we're better just if it's spontaneous and off the cuff.
Just wing it
Right.
off the cuff.
I'm like,
yeah.
if I've got all these notes and he'd have 500 pages of notes, you're going to leave something off. You're better off
Yeah.
just got a game plan and
Yeah.
go. But
I know my very first episode, things have changed so much, and it was like it's like watching Chinese theater. It's our audio and video timing got off, and it's like at some point it was like off by like 2 minutes or something like. So our lips are moving and the words ain't matching up. It's like I've learned a lot, and we've gotten a lot better on our end too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
hey, that's just part of it. You learn, you get better as you go.
Yeah.
like Crazy John said, you know, our episode Wednesday, he said Wes was froze, but his smile stayed the same. The words are coming
Yeah.
out. I was like, I don't know.
That's
I
part
said,
of what
"That's
makes
just-
it fun, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
doing it, you know, you're live too, and so when I go back and put everything on the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I edit that.
Yeah.
But you know, everything we do for our show for the podcast is that we stream it live.
It's
so,
live, so you never know what you're gonna.
Yeah, you get to
You
see
get-
you get
You
to see the good
full,
and the bad.
full box of chocolates.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't know when and what he's going to throw me under the bus about next.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to pick. I mean, every chance I get, it's like that's part of the fun. I mean, I feel like when we get on there on the podcast, it's one of my favorites. It's like similar to being here, just hanging out with buddies, like having a conversation about racing.
Yeah.
We have drivers on there pretty much every week, or someone from a racetrack, a track worker, you know, someone else involved in the sport, and it's like hanging out. And you know, we have people who show up every week and watch and listen, and they're commenting. It's the closest thing I guess we can get every week to just being at the racetrack,
Hanging out with your buddies.
buddies. So,
And it's something that we all look forward to each and every week.
That's awesome.
And especially, I mean, we have to, you know, say a huge thank you to all the fans and you know, their support, and then our sponsors and our tracks and our owners and promoters and all that.
It's just
that they
it's
do.
not possible without all the help.
oh no,
Yeah.
You can't do it without all that I just mentioned.
Yep. I agree 100%.
Super thankful for all of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you both for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
A couple of
It was
those.
fun.
We'll probably
Yeah,
get some
thanks
cold
for having
beverages
us.
later or something like
For
that.
sure, yeah,
Absolutely.
without a doubt.
So we're gonna wrap things up. We're gonna jump off here. I got tons of other stuff to do. I'm sure these guys got some more beers to drink and cornhole to throw or something like that. I got to get back to work. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys all liked it. Slingin Dirt Media. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and like always, man, I'll see you at the track next week. Thanks.